It's everything. It's everything. It's everything. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So, as you guys probably already predicted from the googly eye I have on my forehead, today we are going to draw Evelyn Wang from Everything Everywhere All at Once. Finally. By the way guys, I just want to talk about my outfit. I am attempting to cosplay as Evelyn right now. So I have this sweater that I got that literally arrived today that like kind of looks like the Chinese New Year outfit for Evelyn when she's doing the party. By the way, this is also going to be my Chinese New Year celebration outfit that I'm going to wear. I also have, of course, this googly eye, but the main character, guys, are my beautiful socks with eyes on them. So Everything Everywhere All at Once, this film has been like so popular these days and all across last year as well. I actually watched Everything Everywhere All at Once super late. Like I watched it so late, like it's almost like embarrassing. I watched it towards the end of December of 2022. Before actually starting my character art of Evelyn Wang, I want to just have a brief chat with you guys about just generally like why and how I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, because it's a really long story actually. So long story short, it all began with Michelle Yeoh. So I actually saw her for the first time when I watched her and Cate Blanchett's Actors on Actors interview back in November of 2022, which is also so late. Like I should have known her when I watched that. My first impression for Michelle Yeoh was actually she is so gorgeous. So after that interview, I sort of got interested in Michelle and also EEAAO that she played. I have to clarify that I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once with my mom, since of course, you know, it's rated R. We're fine here, okay? But anyways, I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once and I absolutely loved it. It's certainly my favorite film that was released in 2022 and certainly one of my favorite films of all time now. Like I love it so much. I'm also obsessed with Michelle Yeoh now. She's one of my favorite actresses of all time now. So Everything Everywhere All at Once. How do we even begin? It's literally everything everywhere all at once. You all might be wondering like what picture I'm going to use for drawing Evelyn Wang, and to answer y'all, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the picture I'm going to use today to draw Evelyn. Yeah. This is a scene towards the end where Evelyn undergoes her transformation, I guess. It's impossible to say everything I feel from this film in this single video. It's everything. After my story with this film, without further ado, let's change up the angles a little and get into my actual thoughts about Everything Everywhere All at Once. Let's go! Okay, so now let's finally start drawing Evelyn Wang. While I make the sketch, I'm just going to talk about a brief synopsis of this film. Spoilers alert! So basically, Everything Everywhere All at Once is about this Asian immigrant woman called Evelyn who opens a laundromat in the US with her husband Waymond Wang and her daughter Joy. From the first scenes of the film, we can tell Evelyn is going through a lot, including like family issues with like literally all of her family members, tax issues with an IRS inspector, Deirdre, and also her own unaccomplished dreams and aspirations. So one day in the IRS building,
her husband Waymond's physical form was taken over by another version of him
in another universe, who is Alpha Waymond from the Alphaverse. And Alpha Waymond explains to Evelyn that there are actually a lot of universes in this whole big multiverse, and that the Alphaverse, which Alpha Waymond is from, is trying to stop this supervillain Jobu Tapaki from attempting to destroy the multiverse by using a bagel. The Alphaverse version of Evelyn was actually a famous scientist that pushed Joy, which is Alpha Joy in the Alpha universe, beyond her limit when they were trying to train her to verse jump, which is basically like jumping between the universes. And Alpha Joy basically becomes Jobu Tapaki who wants to destroy everything. So as we can see, Evelyn is connected to this Jobu Tapaki in many ways, and from that and also her own life experiences, Evelyn is ultimately the one who has the potential to stop Joe Butapaki, and it just goes on from there. That was a synopsis, and first let's talk about this film from a personal level. I resonated with this film so much, so relatable for me, and I had such mixed feelings when I watched this film. Ultimately, I loved it, but I actually did not love this film right away. So now let me explain to you the stages of Jill watching Everything Everywhere All at Once. And actually, I saw this really funny thing from this YouTube channel called Cinema Therapy. As they were analyzing this film, they made themselves rocks and used the text to talk as they did in the movie. So we're gonna do that right now, okay? I'm so glad that I ultimately loved it. And so now let's talk about deeper stuff that I'm sure other people everywhere have talked about already. Disclaimer, I got some of these information that I want to discuss from my own viewing experience of this film, and others from video essays and analysis I watched on YouTube and other websites, so I will give credits to them as I talk about it. First of all, let's talk about the topics explored in this film, because there are actually so many topics. There is this really big theme that I'm sure you all know that this film explores, which is nihilism. Before watching this film and before watching a lot of video essays, I did not even know what nihilism is. The proper definition for nihilism is the rejections of all meaning in life, and the belief that life is meaningless, which is what Joe Butapaki believes in, nothing matters, you know, and also existential crisis. One day I was scrolling through Pinterest as I do every single day, and I discovered this picture right here, and I thought that this picture was really interesting. I don't know who made it, but credits to whoever made it. It basically explains the phrase nothing matters. Joy and Evelyn at certain points of this film both believe that nothing matters. However, they believed the phrase nothing matters in two different ways: the positive way and the negative way. From my understanding, if we see the phrase nothing matters in a positive way, basically it's a question, I guess, of why not? If nothing matters, then why not do the things you love? And there's another take, which is the negative take, which is ultimately what Joe Butapaki believed in, which is basically nothing matters, so why live at all? And then there is this whole topic of what if. From a more personal level, I am a severe overthinker, and I tend to worry and stress a lot about what could have happened and whether the choices I make in life are the right ones. And in this film, of course, Evelyn is just first jumping from all of these different universes, which are all of her alternative lives that she could have lived if she made a different decision. For example, she could have been a movie star if she chose to not go with Waymond. But however, after watching this film and seeing the character of Evelyn living her worst life, as Alpha Waymond explained, I realized that I shouldn't be worrying about living the best version of my life as much, because the world is so big and the universe is so much bigger than you imagine. It's literally impossible to experience everything in this multiverse. So at the end of the day, all I have to do is to enjoy what I have at the moment and be grateful for them and enjoy what has already been given to me. And the last topic I'm going to discuss is the feeling of being overwhelmed, which is basically, I think, most represented in the character of Joe Butapaki. In the story, Joe Butapaki became Joe Butapaki because she was we're jumping through all these universes, seeing all these worlds at the same time, damage her brain or something. Now her mind like experiences every world, every possibility at the exact same time, which overwhelms her. Just anyone can get overwhelmed really easily in today's society because of the, you know, again, because of the internet and all of the resources we get daily. So yeah. Okay, now let's talk about symbols. I feel like this whole story of this film, of the multiverse and different lives and stuff, is basically a huge giant symbol and metaphor for life. And from this film, I think the two most reoccurring and dominant symbols are the googly eyes and the everything bagel. So the eyes and the bagel, these are two major symbols that contrast each other in like color and meaning. Basically, the everything bagel is a device created by the villain Jobu Tupaki to collapse the universe in on itself. This bagel from the film basically contains everything, but at the same time it's still like meaningless and empty. But on the other hand, the googly eyes that Waymond puts on daily non-living objects, the googly eyes, unlike the bagel, which is designed to destroy everything, is actually designed to give life and meaning to non-living things. And I want to mention this specific video from this YouTube channel called Accented Cinema. The video basically explained how Evelyn putting the googly eye on her forehead, it means that, and I like basically paraphrase from that video, Evelyn is no longer just staying alive and surviving in this world, but is actually like living her life now. That's a really nice detail that I really enjoyed from that video essay. And other than that, I also think that the googly eye, like, first of all, it's an eye, right? So when Evelyn puts an eye on her forehead, it also means that she understands now. She sees now. She understands now. Because it's a literal, like, eye. The interesting thing is in the plot that both Evelyn and Joy, which is Jobu Tupaki, succumbs to the bagel at point of the story, succumbs to the everything bagel, but one character from Everything Everywhere did not, and that is Waymond Wang. Why didn't he surrender?
Let's talk about Waymond.
The whole sequence of Waymond delivering his like whole like monologue speech in that like Wong Kar-wai universe is certainly one of my favorite like sequences in the entire film. What he said in that sequence and the whole sequence, how it's edited, I personally resonated and related to this character so much. Waymond literally boosted my confidence. Watching this film again, I concluded that initially the three main characters, the family, basically, Evelyn wants to maintain life. Joy wants to escape life, but Waymond wants to embrace life. And Waymond's way of embracing life actually basically saved the whole multiverse.
I would say that I am a pretty optimistic and uncompetitive person. Yes, I would say that I am a nice person in general.
But the thing is, I've actually been told by people in my life that my optimism connects directly to and is a result of my lack of understanding of the society, and basically that I'm too innocent and that my tendency to forgive might cause me trouble in the future, which can be true. Now,
No one actually said that I'm weak or anything.
and I've never like disliked this quality of mine as well. Like, oh my gosh, I was literally on the verge of starting a Hufflepuff pride movement back in 2021, since I've heard too many people offline and online saying how they wish they weren't Hufflepuffs, since Hufflepuff is quote-unquote the weak house, which is definitely not true, but we're not gonna get into that, okay? But from what I have experienced before and from the films I saw and most of the characters that I love greatly, who just happens to convey the traditional sense of being strong, I ultimately sort of just subconsciously succumbs to whatever people say about my optimism and kindness. Like, I would just accept what they say. I won't change myself, but I would just nod to what they say, and I won't like defend, and I won't explain to them, as Waymond did in this film, of why he feels that. However, when Waymond spoke these words, like in the alley, when he said, and I'm gonna say this in Chinese first because he did say it in Mandarin in the film, 我总是看到事情很好的一面，那不是因为我天真，而是必要和需要。这也就是我的生存之道. And basically in English, it's like when I choose to see the good side of things, I am not being naive. It is strategic and necessary. It is how I've learned to survive through everything. I remained silent when I was watching it with my mom, but I can feel myself like cheering. And I feel like after Waymond said that, I felt like I knew myself a lot better. As humans, we can see through and get over challenges in many different ways. And one of them is kindness.
Kindness and optimism aren't weaknesses.
Michelle Yeoh, she also said in an interview that like we are all ordinary superheroes and that our superpowers, which are often overlooked, are basically kindness and love. Oh my gosh, also that Dark Knight quote, like a hero can be anyone, like even the simplest. Okay, anyways, we're going on a tangent. Empathy is the way that saved the multiverse in that film. However, I believe that every single way of dealing with challenges has its advantages and disadvantages. I just want to talk about it because it resonated with me in such a personal level. Now let's talk about some of the themes from this film. And while I talk about the themes from this film, I'm also going to introduce my favorite quotes, because I feel like all of my favorite quotes belongs to one theme from this film. So I'll just introduce like each theme with a favorite quote of mine. First of all, kindness is such a huge theme in this film, and certainly one of my favorite quotes, other than the way of fighting quote from Waymond, is the quote that goes, "The only thing I do know is that we have to be kind. Please be kind, especially when we don't know what's going on."
That is one of the most beautiful quotes in cinematic history. It has to be.
Be kind. It's such a simple phrase, but like it conveys so much, and it's literally all we need to know. Because why not choose to like be kind to others and make yourself feel happier when we don't know what's going on? Like, another quote is definitely empathy. Empathy is such a huge theme in this film. Like the whole like Evelyn's fight of empathy at the end, like at the climax of this film, like how she is using Waymond's way of empathy to understand others to save the multiverse. Because sometimes at the end of the day, a huge way we can save our world and save our personal life is to understand the ones around us. But aside from that, I feel like the character of the villain Jobu Tupaki also conveys the theme of empathy, because during one of the confrontations between Jobu Tupaki Joy and Evelyn, Jobu Tupaki tells Evelyn, "I wasn't looking for you so that I could kill you. I was just looking for someone who could see what I see, feel what I feel." It's just asking for empathy, like, because Jobu Tupaki, like, her goal in this film was to destroy herself, right? To suck herself into the everything bagel and disappear forever and end her sufferings. But she wants someone to understand what she's going through, despite the fact that she's going to destroy herself. The way that she, pulls Evelyn towards her and wants her to go into the bagel with her. In Evelyn's universe as well, her daughter Joy really wants Evelyn to understand her, even like because they're having like mother-daughter issues. And the last like major theme I'm going to talk about is love. So there are two quotes that I picked out that I really love, that really screams unconditional love for me. One of them is like when Evelyn is going through her empathy fight, when she confronts Deirdre, Jamie Lee Curtis's character. She said to her that you are not unlovable. There is always something to love. Even in a stupid universe where we have hot dogs for fingers, we get really good with our feet. Even in situations where it seems as if everything is negative, there's always positives in life. There's always something to love in this world. And the other quote I want to share about love is the whole conversation between Evelyn and Joy when they're like in the parking lot. Okay, I'm just gonna close my marker. So basically Evelyn's like, no matter what, I still want to be here with you. I will always want to be here with you. And Joy's like, so what? You're just gonna ignore everything else? You can be anything, anywhere. Why not go somewhere where your daughter is more than just this? Here all we get are a few specks of time where any of these actually makes sense. And Evelyn, the most powerful reply ever. Evelyn replies, then I will cherish these few specks of time. This is one of the most heartwarming and fulfilling and wholesome quotes I've ever encountered in my whole entire life. Sometimes we do feel that nothing around us makes sense, and we do get those kind of like crises where we like doesn't know what's going on around us. But there are some times where things actually make sense, and what we have to do is to cherish them, as Evelyn said. Okay, so we talked about the topics, we've talked about some of the characters, we talked about the quotes and themes. Now let's combine these all together and talk about the sheer impact this movie has on the world. So I feel like this movie, as Michelle said in like multiple interviews, Everything Everywhere All at Once is giving voices to so many people and communities in this world. For the characters in this film is giving voices to a seemingly plain Asian immigrant. It's giving a voice to Waymond and his way of fighting and surviving in the world. It's giving a voice to teenagers and just people in general who has these things like depression or other mental health issues that they can't really deal with. And it's also giving voices to these
Wonderful, amazing, wonderful actors
that haven't really been talked about that much in the past years that deserve so much recognition, like Michelle, Ki Hui Kwan, Stephanie Su, for the idea of everybody having voices and having like a story. It reminds me of one of my favorite quotes that is said by Helen Mirren. I think she said in one of the Actors Roundtable's interview.
As you can see, I live for these interviews.
I think she said that when she went on a bus one day and she looked at all of the passengers on the bus, she looked at their faces and she just went like, every single one of you has the story of a movie in you.
And that just...
It's so true. Like, all of their stories, no matter what their story is about, no matter how their life is, they're all so meaningful. Finally, let's talk about the actors, because we cannot end this video without talking about the legendary Michelle Yeoh, okay? All of the actors in this movie, like, they're all acting in like different genres and they're acting different characters basically. A few days ago, I watched the Golden Globes live when I knew that the legendary Michelle Yeoh has won the Golden Globes for the Best Actress.
I ran a few laps around my house basically.
Like her speech of saying like, I'm just gonna stand here and take this all in, 40 years not letting go of this. I feel like Michelle Yeoh as an actress gave me hope. My ultimate dream is to be involved in the film industry. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. Literally gave me hope. Again, I love this film so much. It's certainly one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm so thankful that I watched it. It introduced me to so much more than that film. For example, like the actors. I love the music in it. I love everything about it. yeah, that is all I want to express in this video. I'm definitely going to rewatch this film so many more times because I love it so much. I'm definitely going to get more things out from it. I'm definitely going to have more thoughts and opinions. If you're still here and watching, thank you so much because I'm sure this video is already so long. Thank you for clicking in and staying all the way here. I hope you love this film as much as I did, and maybe even more. If you liked this video and if you also enjoyed Everything Everywhere All at Once, please consider giving this video a like and also consider subscribing to my channel.
Even though I'm so inconsistent.
Again, thank you so much for watching, and lastly, I just want to say be kind and bye!